it's the Mad Queen. Welcome into the Queen's Lair. I've actually been saving up a lot of gear for, I would say, about the last couple of weeks so I can make this video for you guys specifically. Typically, I do like to clear out my gear after every single run because I cannot stand to have, well, to basically go through a huge gear cleanse like this. I'm not going to do the full gear cleanse, but I want to show you what you should be keeping and what you shouldn't be keeping. This does not have to be hard. I can admit in previous videos, I may not have explained it in the best way possible, and it has taken a little bit of time for me to come to this, but it doesn't have to be hard. So I want to show you guys what I like to do, and it's really benefited me. This is not something typical that you're going to hear from everyone. A lot of people know if you watch me, I don't always give advice that everyone agrees with. That's okay. You can either take it or leave it. But let's go into our bag. Hopefully it doesn't crash on me because every time I record, it crashes. You can see I have only 1,800 gear in my bag currently. I will say, this is not going to be advice for everyone. So if you're a newer player, this is not really going to be beneficial to you, but it can be good information for what you should be looking forward to. Whenever you're deciding what you want to keep, what you want to throw away, it can be overwhelming, especially if you have quite a bit of gear. So the first thing I always do when I come in here is I go to the filter. I don't typically get a lot of these anymore, but I click on boots, ring, necklace. And then I come down for the main stat. I put health, attack, defense, not bonus, okay? This is going to show me any and all of the flat stat pieces I have. Of course, if you're a late game or in-game player, then you know this already. This tip specifically is more so for beginners because you can use this. It doesn't matter what level the gear is, unless you are just like a week into the game. You should be getting rid of all of your flat stats on any of the pieces on the bottom row. So I'm going to go ahead and recycle it. All of these are forged pieces. I don't get gear typically that has flat stats from running dungeons because I am in the hell stages. So I'm going to go ahead and discard those. And then I'll go in here, unselect these, look at my secondary stat. I'm just going to click health. Of course, I do have some pieces that I didn't follow the rules with this because it came after I decided to do this. But now what I like to do is anything that has a flat stat, if it is purple or blue, meaning it's either an epic piece or an elite piece, I will get rid of it if it has one flat stat. But if it has 3 viable stats of any kind, even if you don't think they go together, if it's like health and attack percent and resistance, I keep it. I know that may seem a little weird, but they're coming out with a lot of different heroes all the time, and this is kind of like hoarding gear a bit, but it is pretty hard to get a piece of gear that has 3 viable stats on it, period. If you know that you already have 1 or 2 pieces that are in the same set with the same substats, get rid of it. You don't need a bunch of pieces that are the same with kind of a weird substat mix. But there are so many instances where those random stats are actually beneficial somewhere and can really, really help you out in progression. I'm not saying run and upgrade those weirder pieces because they are situational. Save them because you never know. I can't tell you how many times since I've started doing this, and I've only been doing this, I would say, for about the last 3 months or so. Since that, there have been, I can't even tell you, I couldn't count on my fingers and toes how many times I've needed a piece that really didn't make sense and was kind of weird and random, but it gave me all of the stats I needed. And because I kept these weird stat pieces in weird sets, I was able to have a really good outcome on my hero. Whenever it's a legendary piece, I will accept one flat stat. When I say flat stats, I do want to be very clear. That is only going to include flat stats on health, defense, and attack. If you're getting agility, if you're getting precision, speed, those are viable flat stats because you can't get percentages on those. So those are going to be ones that you want to keep if you do get those. Don't throw those in with your flat health, attack, and defense. The thing I want you guys to really take away from this video is you don't have to have correlating stats with sets. So don't pay attention necessarily to or think about do these stats match up with what kind of set this is. That actually is a total flip-flop of the advice I used to give. I can't remember if I mentioned or not, I've only been doing this myself for about 3 or 4-ish months. And I've seen a huge improvement on my account overall. In arena, in dungeons, Void Tower, everywhere, you name it. Don't keep common or rare pieces. That's going to be the white and the green. It doesn't matter, honestly, if you're brand new or what, unless you absolutely don't have any other gear. If you've been playing for more than a week or two, you should have more options. If you're in the mid game, when it comes to elite pieces, do not keep a blue piece if it has one flat stat in the substats. When it comes to epic, as long as it has 2 viable stats, then you can keep it. For those later or in-game players, do not keep any elite pieces that are blue if they have a substat that's flat. And the same with epic. If you have an epic piece that has 2 viable stats and 1 that's not, get rid of it. You have to start making these transitions to help you progress your account in general. I'm actually at the point, I don't keep any blue pieces at all anymore. It doesn't matter if they have 2 good stats or not. That is going to be in-game that you want to reach for. And then with legendary, as long as it has 3 viable stats, I'll keep it. Because it is honestly really hard anyways to get 3 viable stats on something anyways, unless you have so much energy and you're just farming constantly all day, every day. I can't afford to do that. I wish I could. Maybe one day. But this is more of a realistic approach. I hope this helps you guys, and I hope I'm not too confusing or babbling too much about what I'm trying to say. If this didn't come across clear enough, let me know in the comments. I'd be more than happy to clarify anything that I may have said that's confusing you. Also, if you're a new player or an experienced player, join my growing Discord community. It's a great place for beginners to ask for help and experienced players to also give help. Remember, this doesn't have to be hard. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.